Deltona, Florida has some real issues going on. Just about every city has a good and, well, a not so good side. It seems what's advertised about a city is usually what's not always getting the popularity. But today, I'm going to take just a few minutes to look at Deltona's other side and discuss 7 reasons why you might reconsider your move to Deltona, Florida. The truth is that I love this entire area, and Deltona is a great place to live. So please, if you're a local, don't hate just yet, because I'm betting that a couple of these aren't so bad, but some of these may be issues that you've never even considered like I did for so long. Now, these aren't listed in any particular order, but I will say that the last one is the one that surprised me the most when I moved to Central Florida many years ago, so be sure to stick around for that one. First, there is nothing to do in Deltona. I mean, there is a Lowe's, there's one Walmart and a few grocery stores, but that's not much for a city of around 96,000 people. Deltona is big on city parks. They've got a mess of them, but unless you're going to one of their parks or maybe the Culinary Preserve for the scrub jays, you're probably heading up to Deland or down to Sanford for just about everything else. I'm Chuck Shaver and I'm a local realtor here in Central Florida, and if you're finding value in this video so far, then hit that like button, as it makes a huge difference for this channel. Although Deltona was established in the early 60s by the Malcolm brothers as Deltona Lakes, most of these lakes were drained or depleted after the hurricanes of 2004 for drainage issues. So today, those homeowners that used to have lakefront homes now have, well, not lakefront homes anymore. Many of those lakes are so small that fishing and water skiing are almost non-existent these days. Want work? Well, unless you're working at the Amazon Distribution Center or something else in the I-4 Logistics Park, or maybe you're getting a job from the city, you're likely heading down to Sanford, Lake Mary, or Orlando because there just aren't many jobs up here. There are plenty of jobs down there, but they do require heading down I-4, and that's pretty much a crapshoot as to whether or not the traffic's going to be backed up or not. Now, maybe you're thinking that it's just a short ride to Orlando, which has everything. Well, it's true that Orlando does have all sorts of nightlife, has the jobs, it has the mouse, and all those other attractions, but it's still a 30-minute ride at best, and that's without traffic. The next issue is one that I really struggle with because I have absolutely no sense of direction whatsoever. Deltona's road system is a mess. Down in Orlando, the roads tend to run east and west and north and south. So after living down there for some time, I was eventually able to get an idea of where I was based on some of those intersecting roads. However, I've been driving the Deltona roads for probably 20 years or so, and I still count on my GPS for just about all of my trips into Deltona. When they planned Deltona back in the day, they had no plans of creating a grid like they do in other cities for planning purposes. As such, the roads here are like one gigantic spaghetti bowl. So finding an intersecting road and assuming that you're getting close to your destination based on those roads, it just doesn't always work here. Saxon Boulevard crosses Normandy in, I don't know, like 2 places, and I'm betting that there are other examples here too. I don't know of any other cities in the area with the road chaos like that of Deltona. Speaking of the Deltona roads and getting around, let's talk about walkability, or the ability to walk from one destination to the next. Here in Deltona, that's not even really a thing. While there are some sidewalks, there's really nothing to walk to. Although Deltona is probably only 7 or 8 miles across, the likelihood of you walking from one place to another is generally pretty slim, unless you happen to be one of the chosen few that live next to one of those stores I mentioned earlier. Deltona is really nothing more than one supersized neighborhood where 90% of the homes look just like the neighbors' homes. There's very little variety here. I mean, the original homes built in the early 60s and 70s have one look, and then you have the homes built in the 80s to the present day having a completely different look. The vast majority of homes in Deltona are pretty much cookie-cutter homes on 1-acre lots. There are very few large parcels or upper-end homes here in Deltona. Next, let's address the weather. Now, I do know that hundreds or thousands of people are moving to Florida every single day. I also know that a large percentage of those people are moving here for our Florida sunshine and the great weather. And we have fantastic weather for about 6 months of the year. Of course, the problem here is those other 6 months. From mid-April through about mid-October, it's pretty hot. Highs run in the mid-90s, and with that heat, unless you're in the water somewhere, not much outdoors is too much fun. And you can bet that you're going to be sweating doing whatever it is you're doing. The flip side of that heat is the winters. It's not really well known, but it gets very cold here in Deltona too. 2 or 3 times most years it'll dip down below 30 degrees, which is often going to kill a good bit of that landscaping or your citrus trees if we forget to take the time and the effort to cover them up every day when it's getting ready to freeze. We've got hurricanes too. While hurricanes aren't part of our daily lives, they can be a problem when they do come our way. Now, some years we won't have any at all, but other years, like back in 2004 and 2022, we'll have several of them. When hurricanes come our way, we're usually planning for them several days in advance, and we're getting ready to lose power because it often happens for several days. While I've never personally dealt with any devastating damage, some hurricanes have torn up places like Homestead, Fort Myers, and Key West. so I'd probably make a bigger deal of them if I lived in one of those locations. Now, Deltona is a bit more inland, which allows hurricanes some time to lose some of their steam, but I do know all too well of the damage that Hurricane Charlie brought to Deltona back in 2004. Next, let's touch on the school system for just a minute. As a local realtor, I try not to specifically address the school system, as school zones sometimes change and the school grades change too. However, I'll leave a link in the comment section below, and I encourage you to check out the grades of the schools here in the Deltona area. Maybe compare these schools with schools in other areas, like maybe down in Sanford or Lake Mary in Seminole County. You may be surprised at what you'll find. Schools are a big deal with many of my customers, so I'm always encouraging them to take the time to do their homework before moving to Deltona. Bugs, we've got more bugs than you can imagine. From rabid mosquitoes to spiders and cockroaches or palmetto bugs that are pretty much the same disgusting thing. We live with them here every single day. These palmetto bugs show up in our homes no matter how clean we keep them. The first time you see one of these 2-inch beasts, you're probably going to freak out like I still do whenever I see one. Banana and wolf spiders can get up to 2 inches too, and they're pretty scary. I remember chasing one around my kitchen probably 20 years ago, and he couldn't hide behind the blinds because his massive legs were sticking out everywhere. It was really a traumatic experience for me. Along with these bugs are alligators and snakes. We've got a bunch of them. Now, we don't see the snakes very often, but they're here. Alligators are in most of these Deltona ponds, and if you've got small pets, you should pay attention. Just take a flashlight out there at night and shine it across the water, and you'll just see their eyes light up. They won't chase you around or anything like that, but they are worth paying attention to. If this is the type of information that you're looking for, then hit the subscribe button along with that little bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I post other videos just like this. It's also okay to pick up the phone and give me a call if I can help with any of your real estate needs here in Deltona or anywhere in Central Florida. Here are a couple of other videos that you may be interested in. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.